Good afternoon, everyone. This is Christian with PerfectStockAlert.com, a 100% free service for smart investors and traders. Today is Monday, November the 29th, 2010, and like we do every night, it's time to look at the markets, so check it out. Okay, before we get started, I've got a couple of announcements to make. I told you guys last week that over the weekend I would try to bring out some new stuff, and we did that. Right here, we've got our new watch list, and surprising a lot of people, it's on the bull side. There's actually a stock pick in here is very bullish, so you can click on there and check that out. Pretty cool. Also, we have updated and completed the video alerts section here. You can check that out as well. We will have another one of these alerts in here. I run this scan every single night, and I post the new alerts here whenever they are available, and so you can get up to 5 of them here. Over here in the watch list, we post one every weekend, so you can check that out. Okay, now let's get to the markets. Okay, let's start off looking at the Dow Jones Industrial Average. This particular index was down about 150 points intraday, then bounced back up, sucking up most of it, only closing down 39 points for the day. A lot of investors and traders out there are going to be wondering, was that it? Was that the end all be all? And the answer to that question is no. Basically, you've got the situation where you told you on Wednesday you had this rally right here, okay, on this up day, 150 points to the upside. We told you by looking at the VIX that that was bogus and it should be shorted. And on the following Friday, which is a low volume day because it was a holiday half day, we sold off about 95 points. And then coming in today, we gapped down and started selling off substantially. Basically, the sell-off happened, way before you could have got involved both of those days because people were off on vacation. So this trade was very low volume. You can still kick around in here, but you'll notice our main point was that this was not the bottom. You are still pressing lower here. There's a series of lower lows there, and you now close below the 50 period moving average here. That's a naughty sign, not something that you want to be bullish about. And again, with the reversal today to the upside, think it through. Had your sell-off been absolutely bogus and someone realized, the whole market realized, wait a minute, this isn't right, we should be rallying. Why didn't it go back up and take all of it back? It didn't. There's still a lot of sell pressure there. Main thing you're seeing here is a sell signal right here at the middle Bollinger Band line. And then every activity since then has stayed below that middle Bollinger Band line, absolutely finding resistance there. And that's something that happens whenever you're turning around, whenever you're seeing a trend shift from a bullish trend where you bounce along, moving above the upper Bollinger Band, the middle Bollinger Band line right here. You close above it, and then you stay above it. All right, and that's a bullish situation. In the other way, when you close below it and then you find a problem getting back above it, it changes it. All right, so that's important to note. And the main thing here, I can show you this chart on the S&P, on the NASDAQ, and so forth and so on. They're all going to show the same hammer formation. But the main thing to think about is what's causing this market to sell off. That's important. This entire sell-off through here, all this stuff that's going on right here, was caused by something. There was a catalyst. That catalyst is, hang on, the situation in Europe, the whole credit crisis that's going on over there, the fear of it spreading, that is what is causing the markets around the world to sell off. We can toss in the added fear of war between North and South Korea, but the main thing here is, of course, the issue over there in Europe, and that is spreading. So we already know that if Ireland, in fact, after you take away their lies of we don't need any help, if in fact they do need help and they do get the bailout, then the reality between the situation with Spain and Portugal having a greater deficit issue, a bigger deficit than Ireland, then it would be quite easy to say this is going to, in fact, continue to spread. Portugal and Spain are next on the list there. Also, you got to keep in mind that Greece and Ireland, these little fixes that we're trying to toss out there, can unravel as well. And the more countries that come out saying we need a bailout as well, the more likely that unraveling is. So it's really important there. And again, this chart is showing a big move to the downside, a lower low right here, then here. It's a continuation candlestick to the downside. I see no reversal here, and therefore, if it is the thing that's driving the world markets lower, why would I then expect the world markets to all of a sudden decide, no, we're not going to care what happens over there in Europe? They're not. They're actually going to care substantially. At the same time, you can, in low volume situations, see bounces here and there. So don't be surprised by that. Do your shorting above the 80 line when you get up here, okay? That's where you want to be doing your shorting at, and that's across the board. If you're uncomfortable holding through a bounce or something of that nature, whenever the slow stodge, remember you've done your shorting up here, okay, that makes sense. When the slow stodge pulls back down below the 20 line, advance your stop loss limit. All right, that way you lock in your gain, and if she bounces back up, you can get back in at a later time period. So that's, depending on whatever you're using, you can advance your stop to lock in a minimum gain and decrease your risk, okay? Okay, a quick look here at BSE, India's Bombay Stock Exchange. For those guys that are trading this, we did not short this, but again, we told you back here this was not a bullish chart, and now she's pulled back pretty good. You do have this previous resistance line here, all right, is now support. So the fact that she's pulled down about this level and starting to bounce around there, that makes sense. So if you did short this guy, note you have pulled when you're up here, you did your shorting, she's pulled back down below the 20 line down here. So advance your stop. If you were shorting up in here, advance your stop loss limit down here, lock in the gain no matter what happens. Okay, here we are looking at the Hang Seng Index. If you're looking at what's going on over in China or Asia, this is your chart here that we've been watching. When you're up above the 80 line, you look for your short opportunities there. When she pulls back down below, you lower your stop to protect yourself. All right, so you could put a stop right there at that 50-day or 50-period moving average, or up here, wherever you're comfortable with, depending on what you're trading. Okay, in any event, I don't want anybody risking anything at this point. Okay, you've got money on the table, protect it. Okay, quick look here at the NASDAQ. You will notice the same hammer formation right there, finding resistance at that middle Bollinger Band line. You're at about 50 or between on the slow stodge, so you could bounce a little more or sell off from here. Bouncing here would actually be better for shorts that could come back in here. The main thing to note here when you're looking at this hammer formation, wondering is this the end? The answer to that question is no. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All these gaps are going to fill. These are low volume gaps to the upside. Very telltale sign of a peak, not a major move to the upside that's just starting a big bull market. That's not happening here. You also notice the long-term charts we'll go into later this week. They're showing there's been no real pullback here. On the BSE, you've had a nice size pullback, so a bounce there would make sense. But here, you've not had a real quality opportunity for longs to get long, or for shorts to decide, this is too much. We're going to go ahead and cover some shorts. That's not going to happen here. Having said that, I want to be very clear on this. There are opportunities in the market on the long side. We've said this before. They are not plenty. There are, you got to dig for them, but there are some out there, and our watch list is designed to show them to you. But the main thing here is that if you're going to be long, find a quality long opportunity, not something that's weak, right? And this would fall into the category of weak. So on this particular chart here, whenever I look at this and people say, hey, you're a perma bear. I'm not a perma bear. I just haven't yet seen a good bullish chart. So until that happens, I'm just going to remind people again and again that if you're going to be a bull, go find something that looks really bullish. Okay, quick look here at oil. What do I think about this chart? I still don't like it from the long side at this point. We got too many issues out there, but at the same time, I'm not confident short here. Not with the hammer formation forming there and war still going on out there, and or the prospects of war and everybody playing around with their fiat currencies. I'm not really confident shorting here. I can find easier short opportunities. So this particular one here, I want zero risk in this trade. Advance, keep a tight stop. As always, anytime you're analyzing the U.S. markets, you can double check it against the VIX, and which one of the things we keep talking about again and again. If the overall markets are oversold and in need of being bought, then the slow stodge of the VIX should show that. Remember, the VIX runs the opposite of the overall market. So if the overall markets are trading below the 20 line, telling you should buy, look for a bounce, then the VIX should be trading above the 80 line. And in fact, that's not happened. So any pullback in the VIX, I'd be looking for another buying opportunity. If you've not been to our free website at perfectstockalert.com, it's right there. It's 100% free. All we ask in return, please refer a friend. A quick look at our disclaimer. The disclaimer, read it and weep. God bless, take care, and I will see you in the next video.